Turning now to another story, a young police officer wrote an open letter to protesters who are enraged by the controversial grand jury decisions. He feels a lot of pride watching members of his generation mobilize across the nation. He wants to join them, but he believes there is a segment of protesters who reject him because he's a police officer. Anwar Saunders is a first-year police officer in New Mexico, and he is joining us via Skype from there. Anwar, it's good to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking some time with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
First of all, what motivated you to write the open letter? I wish we could read it to our viewers because it's quite thoughtful and compelling. Clearly, you've been thinking of these things for a long time. It's really, really long, though. So first, let's talk about your motivation.
My motivation was, it's funny. I like to log onto my social media accounts, my social networks, and I like to, check the current events, check to see what my friends are doing, stuff like that. And, it's funny, all your friends and everyone that's on your timeline or everybody's status is all this, videos of police brutality and videos of police choking people and I hate the cops and stuff like that. And it was just so hard to see because, it's people that you grew up with, people from your community, and then you got the people that you work with. So just being part of both the communities, it was just like so hard to just keep watching it happen and not voice my opinion.
One of the things that I want to quote from your letter, you said, to be frank, the misperceptions and vitriol directed toward law enforcement frightens me. I'm fully aware that not all or even most of you think law enforcement is out to eliminate black men, but there is a loud minority who, along with elements in the media, particularly social media, is spreading a dangerous narrative about law enforcement. So what is it that protesters are not getting about law enforcement?
What protesters aren't getting is that we're just people. In me, I'm pretty dynamic because I'm a black man. I'm no different when I take my uniform off than some of these black men that were victims of their own victims. Okay, so I'm still a black man, and I feel like the public has this misperception is like we're just like monsters or something. We're still people, and at the end of the day, this is affecting us, when we're off duty.
And that's fair, Anwar. But let me ask you this. A lot of the people who are out there, the protesters, and they've said on our air and many other media outlets that their frustration is not about the good cops. It's about the bad ones who seem to use their badge and their gun to exercise their own biases or prejudices. So clearly, you don't think all cops are bad. I don't think all cops are bad. But what do you think should be done with those whose actions seem as if they are demonstrating bias?
See, here's the thing. It's the public's job to bring those type of people to justice. Like, there's systems in place to complain on police officers. And once that paper trail begins of complaints against an officer for the same type of thing, then he gets reprimanded for that. But if people are just saying that people are officers doing these things and there's no paper trail, that it's not just, you can't just point and say he's doing this and then expect there to be some type of reprimand. You got to have a paper trail. So I would suggest that people, instead of just vocalizing their opinion about officers, they walk into that statement and they write that complaint.
Well, that has been done in some circumstances. What we do know is that Daniel Pantaleo, who was just not charged in the death of Eric Garner, has other lawsuits against him, other complaints of use of force, as well as the officer who shot dead the 12-year-old little boy in Cleveland who was carrying the toy gun that looked like a real gun. He practically should not have been employable after his last job. So where do you think the breakdown is? Is it the criminal justice system? You're saying you don't think it's necessarily law enforcement, but something is going wrong here.
It's accountability. It may be the agency's standards towards how they deal with certain situations, certain use of force conduct, and agency specific. Some agencies are really strict on it. Some agencies.
Anwar, I'm going to have to jump in. I'm so sorry. We are all out of time, but I would love to talk to you again. Anwar Saunders, thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
Take care.
And this is Arise America.